My current most favorite 12 fragrances from House of Lattafa. Such a great fragrances. I can see here fragrances that are right now sexiest and deliver the most value for the money. Without any further ado, I want to start by one of the most underrated fragrances from this house. Very strange bottling and presentation. Craft Noir, which is a leather-based fragrance. It is like powdery, slightly fruity, sweet, and leathery. Leather is the most prominent note here at the base of the fragrance, even at the opening, but at the base gets more leathery, very close to Ombre Leather by Tom Ford. I believe it is one of the cheapest and closest alternative clones of Ombre Leather by Tom Ford. I can get like solid 7 to 8 hours plus longevity with this one. With first hour and a half average projection and sillage. Not a beast mode fragrance, but definitely it is above average and smells highly expensive. Craft Noir. Let's continue by number 11. It is a little bit difficult to find this fragrance right now. You can find it on medicine.com. By the way, one of my absolute favorites, Nepras. In my opinion, it is one of the best vanilla based fragrances out there. Reminds me of chocolate greedy. It is like steaming cake, like I said in several videos, in a bottle. Very yummy and edible gourmand type of fragrance. Leans a bit more feminine, but I like it. It is a very yummy and attention grabbing type of fragrance. Gets compliments from women. Lasts very long, like solid 8-10 hours plus in terms of longevity, and projection and sillage is good for first 2 hours. Not a beast mode fragrance, but definitely it is a long-lasting, sweet, powdery, and edible type of fragrance. Number 10 is a compliment-getting fragrance, and I really like the dry down of this one on clothing. Gets like woodier, somehow muskier ambroxany on the clothes, and lasts 3-4 days on the clothing, and like 10 hours plus on the skin. I'm talking about Vintage Radio, which is a fruity, musky, ambroxany, woody type of fragrance. Fruitiness is like plummy type of fruitiness, nothing fresh citrusy, but fragrance is like springy, summery. Has that freshness but not citrusy, you know what I mean, in a unique way. It is like sweet and sour at some points, very close to Initio's Paragon. If you have this one, I assure you don't need that fragrance. It is very close to that fragrance, and performs better. It is like solid 10 hours plus in terms of longevity, with 2 hours of good projection and very good sillage. Has a better sillage and scent bubble compared to the projection, and gets definite compliments. In terms of performance, I get like solid 10 hours in terms of longevity and good 2 hours of projection and sillage, and lasts very crazy on the clothing. Vintage Radio. Number 9 is one of those highly expensive smelling Lattafa fragrances. All of these fragrances are expensive smelling, but this one is kind of next level and smells like a nighttime, extremely dressed up type of fragrance. I'm talking about this juice, which nobody talks about it that much, very underrated. Antique. Oh, it is like powdery. Dior on me, DNA is here, but it is close to BDK's Gris Charnel rather than Dior, but you know those fragrances are all inspired by Dior, like powdery, dressed up. But leather note is here, toned down, and it is like polished and refined version of Dior. As I said, it is very close to BDK's Gris Charnel and smells very dressed up, luxury, and I would say like unisex, but leans more masculine to my taste. I really enjoy it. Has some sort of fruitiness added to it compared to the Dior Homme, and it is a bit fresher, not as daring, let's say, as Dior Homme Intense. And spiciness is reduced here. It is more like crisp and polished version of Dior Homme Intense. Lasts only like 8 hours plus, 7 to 8 hours plus in terms of longevity, and projection and sillage is average for first hour, hour and a half. Number 8 is one of those must-haves if you are into fresh, citrusy, slightly woody fragrances which smell highly expensive. Let's continue by another underrated one, Art of Wood from Lattafa's Pride line. Let's remember it again. Ton of grapefruit, like a grapefruit bomb, let's say, to this one. It is slightly sweet because of vanilla, and woody. Reminds me of immediately Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Italian Love and Parfums de Marly Perseus. But this one is closer to Parfums de Marly Perseus, as it is not aquatic like Dolce & Gabbana Italian Love, Light Blue Italian Love. That fragrance is like citrusy, aquatic, woody. This one is like citrusy, woody, floral with touch of vanilla at the background of the fragrance. So I would say this is closer to Parfums de Mali Persus. I would say it is like 90%, 85% close to that fragrance, but at the dry down is closer even, because at the opening I can get a bit of vanilla, which is not available in the opening of the Persus. Persus opens up like with ton of grapefruit and slightly floral notes, and doesn't have that much vanilla. So let's say this one is like 90% close to Parfums de Mali Persus. Lasts on my skin like 7 to 8 hours plus in terms of longevity, but projection and sillage is average for first 2 hours. Number 7 is from Maison Alhambra, the only fragrance from Maison Alhambra. In today's video, I assure you I couldn't do without this one because I really like it, and this is one of my absolute most worn fragrances right now and saves me the real stuff, because it is extremely expensive smelling and close to the real stuff, which is Parfums de Mali Carlisle. I am talking about Maison Alhambra's Cassius. Let's remember it again. If you are into, I really like it. If you are into this type of dark fragrances, I really like dark fragrances. Dark, resiny, waxy, and aggressive slightly fragrances. Fragrances that are not mainstream, the fragrances that are outstanding and different compared to others. This one is definitely a must-have for you if you like dark fragrances. And I can't believe it is only 20 bucks, 22 bucks for 100 ml, and smells exactly like 99.9% like Parfums de Mali Carlisle, but not as long lasting, to be honest. With Carlisle I can get like solid 12 hours plus. With this one 6-7 hours max in terms of longevity on the skin, with first hour and a half average projection and sillage. But for this price I don't have any complaint, and I can reapply it during the day countless, or during the night, let's say, because it is a nighttime dark sexy masculine type of fragrance. Cassius. Next one is easily at top 10 most expensive smelling cheap fragrances in my collection, hands down. At number 6 I have here Eternal Oud, which is nothing here that much. Oud is way at the background of the fragrance. This one is more about vanilla and amber. Smells like powdery, creamy, slightly like creamy milky, not body lotiony, and it is like very little sweet with touch of woodiness at the background of the fragrance. A highly dressed up, unisex, masculine leaning type of fragrance, very close to Francis Kurkdjian's Grand Soir. This one is more masculine to the Grand Soir. Grand Soir is perfectly unisex, like 50-50, and leans little bit to the feminine side. But because of added drops of oud at the background of this fragrance, I prefer this one better. Leans more masculine and smells as expensive. Lasts on me 10 hours plus in terms of longevity easily, and projection and sillage is good for first 2 hours. Now we're at top 5. If you haven't subscribed the channel yet, remember to subscribe if you find value in my videos and support me by your likes. I really appreciate that. Without any further ado, I want to continue by Camera. This fragrance is for me at top 5. For most of you maybe it is at top 1, one of the best and top seller fragrances from House of Lattafa. It is like dried fruity, spicy, very little boozy at the background of the fragrance. Lasts like 10 hours plus on my skin. Although I like opening of the Khamra coffee better compared to this one, but literally they are the same fragrances in the dry down. That's why I prefer this one better, as it is denser, louder, and longer lasting compared to the coffee version, Kahwa one. So I can get like 8-10 hours plus longevity with this one, and projection and sillage is good to 3 hours. One of those solid must-have fragrances from House of Lattafa. Number 4 is one of the cleanest, I assure you, fragrances from House of Lattafa, even in my collection. It is very airy, transparent. Let's get into it. At first, I'm talking about Breeze, which gets no talk and no attention for whatever reason. It is like airy, citrusy, extremely clean, and transparent, inoffensive fragrance. This is one of those fragrances for extremely hot days and extremely close encounters. For example, in the summer you're on an airplane trip, let's say, to this one, I would prefer this one. It is very inoffensive and smells citrusy, airy, clean, happy. Smells like one of those luxury hotels when you go clean sheets, you know what I mean. Very close to, if you have smelled 724 or Aqua Universale by Francis Kurkdjian. It is closer to 724 definitely. And also at some points I would say like Lacoste White, in that genre. If you like citrusy, airy, clean fragrances, this is one of those must-haves. Lasts long on my skin but doesn't project that loud. I would say it is like 7 to 8 hours plus in terms of longevity, but projection is like airy, transparent, and extremely inoffensive. So it doesn't project that loud, which I like it, which makes it perfect for close encounters, but lasts clean and long. Breeze. But 3 is also a sexy juice, man. All of these fragrances are great, 10 out of 10 cheapies. For example, if you are on budget and you want something very sexy for date nights, I can easily, closed eyes, recommend this one to you. Number 3, Jasur. Damn, look at this quality. It is like herbal, sweet, complex, outstanding, different compared to most of those sweet fragrances. It is like herbal, memorable, sweet, signature scent worthy, very close to Coral Fantasy or Born in Roma Intense by Valentino, very close to those fragrances, and as high quality and expensive smelling like those fragrances. It is around like 30 bucks, 25 bucks for 100 ml, and lasts like 7-8 hours plus solid on my skin with 2 hours of good projection and sillage. Absolutely one of those must-haves from House of Lattafa, Jasur. Number 2 is also one of those great jobs from House of Lattafa, which smells highly expensive, smells better compared to the Jasur. In my opinion, what should I say, every fragrance smells better compared to the before one. You have to test it yourself and decide yourself. This one, in my opinion, smells better even compared to the Jasur, especially if you are on budget and you want something solid for a date night out type of situation. I'm talking about a Nashama Caprice. Damn, this fragrance has a very strong character. It's very memorable. It is very close to Blue Electric from House of Yves Saint Laurent, L'Année de L'Homme Blue Electric. It is like creamy sandalwoody, spicy, cardamom, touch of apple is hidden at the background of the fragrance, not to your face, and gets woodier at the dry down. It is like woody, spicy, little fruity, let's say. To this one, lasts only like 6 to 7 hours plus in terms of longevity. The real stuff is also like that, a bit longer lasting compared to this one, and projection and sillage is average and inoffensive for first hour and a half. One of those must-have cheapies in any man's collection, in my opinion. Number 1, my absolute favorite fragrance from this house. For example, smells way better in my opinion compared to the camera, but it doesn't get that much talk or hype. I'm talking about this crazy juice, Art of Nature 2. It is not one of the best fragrances from House of Lattafa. It is the best one from this house, I assure you. So let's remember it again. Whew, this accuracy is crazy. It's almost like from the same jar. It is exactly like Perfumes de Molly Alter. I really love this DNA, and I have it here cheaper. Look at this beautiful presentation, but I am more about the juice here, which is very concentrated looking and has a very dense coloring. So scent profile, if you haven't smelled any of these fragrances, opens up fresh a bit, sweet, and gets darker, burnt, smoky, like vanilla and amber mixture. So it is exactly like Parfums de Molly Alter, which opens up also fresh. This also opens up fresh like that one, fresh, citrusy like, but way at the background of the fragrance you get some sort of citrusiness, which is not available that much in other dupes colognes. And dry down is exactly like that fragrance, smoky, masculine, sexy, amber and vanilla. Lasts only like 8 hours plus in terms of longevity, with 2 hours of good projection and sillage. Not a beast mode fragrance like Alter, but it is above average in terms of performance, and believe me, it is one of those must-have fragrances if you are into this type of sexy juices. Take care, guys.